early, but very good afternoon, good morning to all on frequency. Yeah, Murphy's playing around here like mad. This is ZS6YI running the DATV Net today, the worldwide DATV Net. We wish to welcome everybody on board, and we also wish to thank the people that's made this available to us, Qatar Satellite Company, as well as AMSAT DL and AMSAT UK, and of course the BATC. Yeah, I did start off a little bit early today, a few seconds actually. I pressed the wrong button, but that happens. I apologize. Anyway, today we're going to have quite a nice program by the looks of things. We have Beno. He's back from holiday, so Beno, welcome back, and I hope you're going to tell us something about it. We have Ohan that's going to talk about DATV Not So Easy Made Easy, or easier, probably the truth behind that. Hello to you, Brian, G6HFS. Hello to Martin, G8KOE, about his PC, interested to hear that. Hello to Phil, M0PIT, talking about Ethernet cables. And then Leon, ZS1MM. There might be other guys coming in a bit later, but we shall see in due course. I just want to see who's on the other list. Hello, Paul, OE8 PCK. He's on the WhatsApp frequency. I'll just see if he wants to say something, if we should be added. And hello from 4 United 1 Tango Uniform. Hello, Mike. See you listening. And nice to see you on. Just sorry about what's happening in your part of the world. Okay, let me just see. I got a WhatsApp message. Let me see. Best wishes from Portugal. I don't know, Paul, if you're going to come on, but if you are, just let me know and I'll put you at the bottom. You'll be below, just after Leon, ZS1 Mike, if you want to come up. Okay, and today Nick is just watching G4IMO. Hello, Nick. Nice to see you on. Right, with that, back to you, Beno, from Zulu Sierra 6, Yankee, India, with a raspy voice.
Well, famous sound, it must be me back home. Yes, I am. And I won't bother you with all holiday pictures, as I made some 170 gigabyte of data putting off on my desk cam. But I have still a face, and I'm available. I'm back in my shack. And I've made a few interesting parts which I quickly pulled off my hard drive and then put along aside each other to show you a little bit what I've seen over the last few days, which are interesting, at least for the net, I believe. So my setup was basically putting my dish next to my mobile home, and some of you already saw this one as I posted also somewhere on the chat, but I was not at home. I was somewhere along the line. Let's see if I can swap. I need someone to control my PC, but this was a view from the site I was visiting, which is in Marsat in the north of the Netherlands, which organizes well, one of the tasks amongst many other tasks it has, It's one of the sites where all the calls are coming in, all the internet coming in from all the mobile vessels and cars and worldwide. It's coming in from the Inmarsat satellites onto one of this sites like this one. And it has several other things, but obviously they didn't show us too much. But yeah, everyone is dreaming something like a dish like this. What I have seen is one of those dishes mainly are mounted fixed, but they have dishes which they can swap it between several satellites, and they do it this way. They have some coarse big turning possibility. Oh, that's a quick one. Let's do it again. Ah, it's already gone. Why is it gone? So this is a dish where a big motor is turning a dish, and there are 3 mounts on the bottom part. It doesn't work. I wanted to show you, but it's nice that they are capable in changing those dishes to several satellites. So obviously I was not using this setup, but I'm using a different setup with my I don't have actually a side of that one. I'm quickly moving from pictures. So this was basically my setup in the back of my mobile home, where the nice Proud of mine was sitting in front of me. It's actually this transceiver doing multiple jobs, working on the QO-100 on one end, and also FT8 on the left, on 40 meters and 20 meters, and I made over 350 QSOs with it. I made about 200 on FT8 and 150 on the QO-100. And I also was capable in activating, I think, 2 or 3 new squares in Denmark. I have only worked on FT8 in Sweden, still not capable of doing QO-100 in Sweden. But I already made some nice, interesting contacts in Sweden with some locals, and they told me there are progress and they are working on it, and I think within too much time there are possibilities. I also had a contact with the local Swedish organization of the government, and they told me I can apply, but I need to do that for at least 45 days for a special permit to work on the QO-100. So that gives a nice possibilities, and I think that would be lovely when I wanted to show you. Okay, one last thing I wanted to show you is if it does work. That's this one. Many have seen those domes on a boat with the Inmarsat. This is basically one of the internal insides of those domes, and I really like this piece of mechanic. I wonder if I was able to work on the QO-100 with that. But I have asked, don't they have a spare one from my mobile home? Not yet. But I think looking at the size of the dish, I need to put probably a few hundred watts in there to get a decent working. But the mechanical part is quite impressive. Actually, it was set up to work on a current satellite, on one of the satellites, but it was blocked by most fun. They hang up a satellite on a big crane just in front of the beam of this dish, and the dish couldn't find the satellite anymore. So that's a big fun, big laugh. Okay, that's about it. And I think it will cover most of it. By the way, while I was gone, Tom has updated the Open Tuner to 08. I'm not sure if it was covered in this net. I played with it, and yes, it also produces a nice channel LED, but only on one channel. I have obviously 2 channels at the moment with Open Tuner, and it works pretty stable. I'm looking at it at the moment, but it's only doing 1 channel LED, and I do have 2 channels and also 2 channels LED on it. So I need to work with Tom to figure out what's going on there. But if someone loves the LED in the Mini Tuner S, it works flawlessly, and it shows that you have a transport stream successfully decoded in the Mini Tuner. Well, that's pretty much all. Passing it on. No clue too. Can I have... sorry, I didn't produce that one correctly. Let's see if I can tell me quickly. Yes, I can. Ohan, Zulu Sierra 1 SCI from Oscar, from Papa Alpha 3 Foxtrot Bravo X-ray. And do I have a I have a test card. I'm passing it on to you.
Papa Alpha 3 Foxtrot Bravo X-ray. This is Zulu Sierra 1 Sierra Charlie India for the group and net. Let me get this test card off, and huzzah. Good afternoon, everyone. Today I would like to share with you my little dashboard here. So about 3 weeks ago, I started playing with the new firmware that Everest made, F50EO. It's the one where it does the TX muxing, I believe, through the FPGA of the Pluto, which is a Atmega, if I recall correctly, or Xilinx, I'm unsure. But the thing is with this firmware is that, let me just see, yeah, everything's still good. It didn't have it didn't have a DATV easy, so the only solution was Michael's DATV not so easy. So what I'm about to share is going to be just my motivation as to why I built the dashboard that I have. So this is Michael's V1 documentation. I am not going to go into depth to set this up. What I'm trying to illustrate is I've read through every single part of this documentation to try and understand what parts I need to build a TX and DATV easy kind of dashboard in Node-RED So I've gone through it from top to bottom, hence building the thing. Point of the matter is, if we scroll through this, it is quite comprehensive, and I'm very, very thankful of people or persons that document things well. I myself am not that good at documenting things, but I can read documentation very, very well to try and understand something. So point of the matter is, he has all of this, you can use it as DATV relay, and with the new OBS setup, so there's a lot of things going on. So I'm just going to stop at the point where you can now, with the new firmware, if I just go and see if my signal, I am moving fast, and the intention is, it has Longman client running on the Pluto. So if you put in a USB hub, let me just grab mine, and with a network port, you can then connect the mini tuner to a USB hub, and then you've got RX and TX on the Pluto. So then you can just demux or you can play the RX stream on FF Play or MPV player. So that's pretty cool. And then here we go, and then here's the roadmap. So yeah, point of this, excuse me, is it took like 2 days, maybe. Well, it took me like an hour to set it up, and then 2 days of switching profiles and changing things and opening BUT files for me to go like, okay, let's try and make the opening of things a little less. And I didn't have a DATV Easy, so I couldn't just change things on the fly to test with the new firmware. One thing I have to preface is that libx265 requires you to have quite a beefy CPU to be able to transcode the software codec. I am on a Ryzen 3900X with 12 cores and 24 virtual cores. It's quite a beefy CPU from like 2019. Point being is, it's getting taxed running my 1 megasymbol streams. Not so much on stuff like 8 PSK 3/4 with 1080p doing on 333. Not so bad. But I mean, the more you increase the bitrate, the more your CPU plays a role. Point of the matter is just, if you're going to use the software encoder, and I've tried to instruct Leon to try it, and he says it's just worse. It all depends if your CPU can handle the transcoding. So one would probably have to build like a little tool to just run to see whether it passes some computational equation. That might be quite easy, like a FFmpeg benchmark. There are FFmpeg benchmarks that we can run to see if your CPU can handle the stream that you're trying to give it, because it tells you if it falls behind on the frame rate. It's very verbose in that sense. But anyway, I am waffling quite a bit. Let me show you my new dashboard. Here we go. So this is it's now in its state. So what I did is I've changed it up again. I've changed it up quite a few times, but I'm trying to stick to something now. I've now condensed all the profile related stuff to the left. So when you change, and I'm not going to change it now, when you change constellation, sample rate, or FEC, those are the 3 variables that you change the TS rate and the video bit rate, because according to the calculations on Wikipedia and per Michael's bash files, those 3 are the changing parameters. The other things are just the stereo, the encoder, the codec you choose, are just the things to tell FFmpeg what to use what to do with the data that you send it via these TS pipes and the video stream and the audio streams. So you'll see here I've got 33, 66, 125, 250, 333, 500, and 1000. And then last run is just whatever you ran last. It kind of keeps track of whatever profile you ran. So if you stop your computer and you just want to pick up, it remembers the channel. Here's a whole list of channels. I don't think you'll see the... you actually do see the pop-up. These are all tied to actual frequencies on my Pluto. So if you click a profile and it's tuned to this channel, they're all preset. As you can see, it's got a slight like 14 hertz offset. So that matters for it to be able to track where it stays. But anyway, if you activate a profile, it goes green. All the other profiles are normally this green color. They go gray, and then the process ID of the thing that spawns FFmpeg is next to the stop button. So if I had to stop that, that would not only kill the transmission, but also kill the profile that's currently running. This profile has been running for 733 seconds. I'll add a little transmission tracker timer as well in due course if there's a need. But then, yeah, you can change these frequencies at will, and you only kind of need to run it here. So this is controlling the radio device in the middle. This is also setting the... So DATV Easy is essentially on the left. Your Pluto radio controller is in the middle, and then your buffer status is on the right. I'd like to bring in the spectrum. That would be a neat thing, but one thing at a time. So yeah, this is just a nice way to have to only open one thing. I've updated the repository, so let me go there. There was an issue that some gentleman listed earlier. I'll post it in the chat again. Please try and break it, and I guess comment if you find this useful. Here's some setup instructions. This is the latest layout, and yeah, you need to use the latest firmware for it to work at all. I have not focused on previous firmware versions, as I have not tested talking to the Pluto that way, because the way that DATV Easy talks to the Pluto, I believe it's either via UDP or some other means. I'll use Wireshark to check what DATV Easy sends to the Pluto, but I do believe it's a UDP message to control it. So for now, this is mainly focused on the latest beta firmware. And when Everest has a new Pluto, because apparently he fried his, we can continue developing the firmware. Anyway, my next steps are, this is in a pretty decent state now, so I'm going to leave it as is, take a little break from building radio stuff. But when I get back, let me just get my camera back. When I do get back, or in the, let me just see if my audio is still okay. Or in the, yeah, audio is still good. In the meantime, not working on Node-RED, but the plan would be to also compile the Pluto firmware as per analog devices instructions, so that I can then compile Everest's beta branch, so that I can write the software directly or change features of the Pluto in place. But yeah, anyways, if you're going to use software encoding, it requires, I would say, Intel 11 series upwards. I'm speaking under correction. I have not built a tool to determine that statement, but I think that should do the trick. Or potentially it might be related to the new firmware that makes it work so nicely. There might be a correlation. I'm unsure. But anyways, I do believe it is G6HFS next. I hope you enjoyed the little chat about my motivation behind this. Yeah, G6HFS. Please take it from ZS1SEI.
G6HFS. Yep, have some audio. Well, good afternoon, morning, evening all. Nice to be on a bit earlier. As the daylight is starting to disappear over here now. All very interesting, Ohan. I don't really do a great deal of software fitting. I think my processors in my shack won't handle that. Not unless I upgrade, but the only thing I've been doing is playing. I had a little Prezi come through the post. I've not really played with SDR players in the past, so there we go, and that's what I've managed to achieve so far. Sorry about the reflection, but this is the band viewer in Portsdown now that Dave GKQ has been doing, and as you can see, you can mix waterfall, do a mix, you can exit that. Oh, keep forgetting I have to do it twice. And also in the test equipment, you've now got Meteor Viewer, and again, there you go, you can see the mode there, starts up in mixed, but you can change it to classic if you wish to. So been playing with that this week, and also decided that I've had this sitting in the shack box to be built up so I can get at some IO ports on the PI 4. So that's what I've been up to. The only other thing is why I've been away is been doing too much of this, which Leon will appreciate, I hope. That's the Atlas. It's a bit of a fast beast. I did clock that at 137 on the GPS, so it keeps you in the seat. Also gives you a reference to what size they are. They're the sort of size aircraft that I build and fly. So that's all I've been up to, really. I've been keeping myself a bit out of mischief. Well, trying not to cause too much mischief. The XYL Francis is off to her sisters, so I dropped her off this week. So I've had this week and all next week to myself, doing what we need to do. So that's it from me. I'll only do one round this afternoon, as I want to nip out before it gets too dark. So I'll say cheers and 7-3s for now. Have a good afternoon. I shall carry on watching for a little bit, and I'll hand it to Martin, G8KOE.
Right, the receiver didn't seem to want to lock on too quickly. Thanks there, Brian. Let's make sure I've got some audio before. I've gone for a wide shot because Ohan, I know, prefers the wide shot. But it's all good fun. Yeah, what have I been doing? Since I think last week I was having problems with the PC, and they've continued. It's a Dell PC, which I've got tech support, which is based in India. So I had various long sessions with them, and the long and the short of it is I've run all sorts of tests, and they've run all sorts of tests. So it's down to reinstalling the operating system, I think, and see whether things start working as they should do. So if I go off, it's because things are suddenly locked up. And I haven't been able to find any logical sort of sequence of provoking things. You know, it's everything's sort of working now, and you click on something to open it up, and the mouse and keyboard is all frozen up, and the video display's frozen up. The only thing you can do is power down and power back up. So tomorrow morning, I think about 9 o'clock, I'm continuing with tech support as I paid for it. They're going to reset everything for me, and we'll see how we go there. So I'll have to reinstall the software. So if I'm not on next week, that's the reason I failed. But we'll see how we go. The other thing I've been playing with is my PA, which finally managed to get some fans to put on it. The post in the UK is going downhill fast, I think that's the best way I can sort of put it. But anyway, having blown up the first fans by forgetting that they were 12-volt fans and putting 28 volts on them for my variable power supply, forgetting that I hadn't sort of changed it or reduced it down, I had to get some more fans, which are those ones, which are now sitting on top. I've actually put a fan controller board in. Not that I really need one, but it means that the fans just plug in there. I don't cut the leads off and feed them through and connect them up to the regulator inside. So there's no chance of getting it wrong. So the fan controller is up and running with the 12 volts fed to it, and then I can plug the fans in, or any other fans, or I can unplug, or I can do all sorts of things. So that's why it's mounted where it is. So that seems to be up and running. We'll do some more tests during the week. Hope to, that's gone one too far. Hope to be testing it actually on air. But I got sidetracked with doing the, or having the PC problems, shall we say. The other thing that I did download, which that's not what I want to do, let's get rid of that. There's a little utility called Specky. There's a little app that's available in the Microsoft Store, which is free, which gives you all sorts of information, easy to hand. Operating the CPU, bus speed, etc. There's all sorts of bits, but it's all easy to hand, which I quite like. So the drives, etc., peripherals, what the network. So it gives what the network's doing. Now, OpenTuner there, Beno, it was mentioned by Dave on the DATV Net. Now, at the moment, I'm running with your client, which I will shrink down. I'll put it across here. So that's what I'm using as a receiver at the moment. But if we go over to the display on the right, and we'll attempt to, actually we could stay on the main one for the moment, but we'll try running OpenTuner, which I think I have a link here, OpenTuner 8. There we go. Oh, I've clicked on it twice, you silly person. Don't want it twice. Right, now we go to the other display. Click on connect. Is it going to work? Is it not going to work? Okay, so I haven't got a picture on the second one, which we should have. Let's try it again. I think it might have been because I clicked it twice, trying to demonstrate things. Let's go again. There we go. The only thing I have found with it, let's go and get a picture of me. Is that every so often it'll open up one of the windows in a separate VLC window, like that you can do in the settings. You can go and set it up, but it is basically working. Let's see a few other whether that helps or not for you there, Beno. But come on, there you go. So it is basically a go. I'm a bit impressed with the fact that I did a live live demonstration. But I think that's probably about all. Let's go back to me. And hopefully that did work. I didn't even look at the and the DATV not so easy. Yeah, at the moment with my PC having problems, it's only an i7 13th I think generation. So I think we probably won't go with that. We'll stick with my DATV Easy, which is easy for the moment. Maybe in the future we'll see how it goes. So I think it's round to Phil next. M0PIT. I'll give you plenty of warning. Hopefully, I'm amazed that things haven't locked up. It's crazy because I can run all day and then watch a sort of a YouTube video or whatever, and that's fine. And then come to watch the second one and it just locks up as soon as you click on something else. But hopefully we can close down. So I'll put up a test card and then pass it over to Phil there. I'll find out what he's been up to. Probably been tearing his hair out with Node Red, because you tend to lose your hair with playing with Node Red, I think. That's what Gary, I think, reckons, anyway. Round to you there, Phil, from G8KOE.
Right, that's looking good. Turn the audio off, make sure it's working. Yeah, that's working. Right, good afternoon, evening, morning, wherever you are. Yeah, thanks, Martin. And yes, I have lost more hair through Code Red, but that's another story which I shall explain in a minute. Beno, I like the dishes. Wouldn't mind the odd one of those in my garden, but I think the big ones, the neighbours would complain. But even so, very nice. And Martin's troubles with his PC. Well, my only comment is I reckon you should start looking at Linux because it actually works. And then perhaps Martin would lose even more hair trying to get it to run, but that's another story. Right, where are we? Yeah, where are Node Red? I think you know that I was playing around with Node Red and I produced a lovely dashboard to control an Arduino. Lovely graphics. Yeah, okay, I was happy with that. And I put it to one side. And A few days later, you've got to bear in mind that every day all my PCs are turned off. They all removed. I turn the power off to all of them. So when I turn them on, they are, if you want, they are fresh. Anyhow, a few days after playing around with Node-RED, I powered up my machine, one of my machines as normal, and I was working on some Ethernet Arduino software, and I was having real problems with it because it wasn't working the way that I expected it to work. And then after several hours, I happened to notice that something else was talking to the Arduino. And that turned out to be Node-RED. And yet the thing was that Node-RED hadn't been started on this machine. And when I actually looked up services, there was 4 instances of Node-RED running. So then I tried to kill Node-RED, and it told me that it wasn't running. Now my background is in network security, and I'm quite paranoid about processes running in the background. And as soon as I saw that, I thought, that's it, bang, and I've removed Node-RED from the PC, and I don't have any intention to run it again, purely because there's processes running that I know nothing about. I ain't got a clue what they're doing. Anyhow, that's me being very paranoid. Anyhow, that's Node-RED, but I mean the work that Ohan's doing, well, it's absolutely fantastic. Yeah, it's really quite amazing what he's done. Anyhow, what have I been doing during the week? Well, let's kick off. I've moved my shack around. In order to do that, I needed a longer Ethernet cable to go from where my PCs are to where the router is. And I ended up running a shortish cable across the floor, and everything was working, everything was fine. So I ordered a new Ethernet cable. It arrived. This is the beast here. I thought, oh, this is a bit flimsy. Anyhow, so I installed it. Everything I thought was working fine. And then Jim, NTG, was on the chat, and he said he had problems with his Winter Hill. And I said, well, I'll put a video up on the satellite. So I put a video up, and on my receive, occasionally it stuttered. So I said to Jim, or I messaged Jim, and I said, look, sorry, looks like I've got a problem on TX. And he came back and he said, it's all right with me. Well, that implies that if Jim's receiving my transmission okay, it must mean that my receive is not good. So I thought, well, what have I changed? Well, the only thing I changed was putting in this Ethernet cable. And then I got thinking, well, yeah, it was a bit strange, this Ethernet cable, because it was all flimsy, etc. Then I cut a long story short. I ordered a new one, or a different one, a high-spec one, as one should, you know, nice and rigid. One of these. I put it in, problem gone. Now, this cable, which is now going to go in the, well, it won't go in the bin, so I should probably keep it for the wire. It's supposed to be UTP, twisted pair. Very flimsy, this is them. There is one pair that's probably twisted. The others aren't. And what I suspect was going on was that because I used the Winter Hill client, and the client is receiving data from the Winter Hill, now that data is UDP, which means it's stateless. If any of those packets get lost, destroyed or whatever, it doesn't get retransmitted. So if this cable is causing problems on the data and the occasional UDP packet gets whatever destroyed because of the makeup of the cable, I would get freezing on the receive, and that's exactly what was happening. And since I've replaced that Ethernet cable, I don't have any problems. So just bear it in mind that if you're using cheap Ethernet cables, particularly on UDP, it can cause you problems. I mean, it could still cause you problems on TCP, but because it would be retransmitted, it would just start to slow down stuff, slow down the transfer of data. But if you're using UDP, it just gets lost. So anyhow, so that's what I've been up to. That's going to be cut to bits, and probably if the wire's any good, I should use that. But that's what you want to get. Decent Ethernet cables. Anyhow, that's enough from me. It's only going to be one over today. I'm off out later on, so I need to get ready, etc. But anyhow, I need to hand it back to Leon. So I'm going to put up a test guard. And I should say cheerio to you all. I will be listening, but I won't come back on. So I'm going to hand it over to you, Leon. This is M0PIT. Going to put up a test guard and then clear carry.
Okay, seems like Phil was killed by his test card. Right, let my amp just warm up a little bit. I'm up to D3 now. Okay, hope you can get me better. Well, Ed is the guy who needs more power, but Ed's not here today. Okay, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Those whom I haven't spoken to yet today. Yeah, Phil, I agree with you. Buying cables, Ethernet cables, and even USB cables. Buy the best. You'll not be sorry. You get all sorts of artifacts and things if you run cheap cables with data. And Martin, new fans, yeah. Oh, that's my biggest fear is especially this transmit computer of mine, if that gets corrupted, to have the Windows reinstalled. I can't do it myself because you cannot buy Windows 11 on a disk anymore. I don't know what to do. I'll just take it back to the shop like I did when the SSD packed up. I don't know, Ohan said the name of this thing. It's a tiny little thing that plugs in the motherboard. It's not a separate SSD like the old ones. That thing packed up, and I just took the whole machine back to the shop in Bredasdorp, and they sent the suppliers in Cape Town sent a new drive, and they fitted it and uploaded Windows 11, and yeah, it's been working perfectly ever since. Much better than it was when I bought it. So that thing must have been a bit dodgy right from the start. Okay, Brian, yeah, I see you were flying again. That's good. I don't get down to the airfield. I just never find the time anymore to do that, but I must make a plan. Really. 35 planes and they're just standing here or hanging here and so on. I don't get around to flying them. Okay, Ohan, we've had chats with. It seems, Ohan, that the specs you've just mentioned is rather high. Mine is i7 running at 3 gigs. I don't know how many processors or whatever. I have no idea. I don't know where to look for that, but I just went into the thingy there and it says it's i7 and it's running 3 gigs. That's all I know about it, and it's got 16 gigs of RAM. What tickles me is why the NVIDIA wouldn't work at all. The hardware encoder, the software, as I said, and by the way, my thingy says version 0303. That's what the Pluto is running. I presume that's the firmware version in the Pluto. Anyway, I think I'll just delete the whole lot because it's not working for me unless I'm still doing something wrong. A big difference could be, I think you've got a much more modern version of OBS. Gary and I, we're still running old OBSs because they work. Why fiddle if it's working? Right. And yeah, Beno, there you see my computer. I don't know, I thought it was still up to date, but it seems that I bought it exactly 4 years ago. Yeah, 4 years ago. That was the latest then and the best I could buy, and it seems to be old now. Even with its super duper graphics card. Alright, okay, that's it. All my other projects are making good progress. The FTS system, flight termination system, is working perfectly now. I must just see if I can shrink it a bit. In other words, draw new PC boards for it, and yeah, then send it off to Durban. So Gary, it's back to you. ZS6 Yankee India for the group from ZS1 Mike.
Okay, Leon, very good. Let's just get this thing to lock. ZS1 Mike, ZS6YI returning. Yeah, very good afternoon again to all. Nice to see people on, and hello to Henry. He's now got a Portuguese call sign, so that's quite nice. We know him as a ZS6 station. So anyway, he's watching, and he liked what he saw from Ohan. Very nice indeed. Just want to see, where did he now, if I can just get it. Yeah, Gunther's on, DD8GW. Hello, Gunther. And hello to Phil, M0PIT. And then Henry, Charlie Tango 7 Alpha Radio Delta. Also saying hi. And of course, Mike for United 1 ITU. And then hello, Nick, G4IMO. He's receiving on a 70 centimeter dish. He's having a bit of issues with his computer. I don't know why he's just watching. Something's gone wrong. And hello to Chris, 2 Echo 0 ILY. Lovely signal. Well, nice to see you on the chat there. And yeah, Nick said he won't join a Windows update, which has disabled his audio on OBS. These updates really are challenging if this is not your line of work. Anyway, it's all good fun. That's what makes life interesting, I think. Right, just to get back to the guys on the net. Beno, okay, you said you're not coming back, but that was a nice photo with that huge dish on the back of your mobile home. Imagine if that could be on, eh? But interesting how they turn it with the big gearboxes there, the ring gears. And yeah, it looks very good indeed. And that little one you got there, yeah, if the dish was a little bit bigger, that was a 1.2 meter dish, it would have been ideal with all its versatility. You could actually put it on your mobile home, put a radon around it, and then drive, because you're not going to go too fast. And you could actually lock it onto a QO-100. And as you're going around the corners and what have you, your dish just moves and follows it. Now that will be mobile in the true sense of the word, eh? Anyway, Ohan, baie dankie, very nice presentation. And yeah, you guys on the computer side, this is really your interest. Leon and I, we more RF types, but yeah, we have to come to the modern age, but we're not necessarily programmers. I gave up programming when X Basic went to GW Basic, and I had to relearn stuff. I threw it out, and that was that. I've got other people to program who like doing it. Martin, excellent as per usual. And Brian, hi, and cheerio to you. And what a nice plane. And you say 137, was that kilometers per hour? Which is very fast. And I presume that's your all-electric unit. But beautifully done, beautifully made. It's a nice hobby. Funny how many radio hams also do either photography or photography and model aircraft. I wonder what there's a common denominator somewhere. I suppose it can be called madness. If you're a radio ham, you must be a touch nuts. Anyway, Phil, good on you there. And yeah, we've had issues with cables, make no mistake. And you've just gone and cemented what we thought on the Ethernet cables. I didn't think it would be that critical. I know the USB cables can be pains, but I see indeed there's a massive difference between the one in the packet. I just hope it works to plan, and it'd be interesting to hear your experience after that. Yeah, Node Red, Ohan learned it very, very quickly, like overnight. He knew very little about it. And so he said he better go and study this up. And the next minute he was having fun. Ah, my power's back on. Let me just turn that off. Here, I've been having a problem at work. That was my beacons, ZS6DN beacon, which I run. And the power's been off again today. They've been working on the whole area electricity, but it's just come back on, so I can tell my guy he doesn't have to go at 6 o'clock my time. Looks like the power's on. I'll just give it a 15 minutes or so test. And Leon, yeah, I'm pleased to see you've got that unit working for the new launch. Now, my little grandson's coming from London next Sunday. He arrives early Sunday morning, and my daughter said, oh, he wants to also now take part in a rocket launch. So I'll have to get my rockets together. I'm not going to have the big stuff. I'll just use small things that he can launch it and run after the parachute on the in the back garden here. Luckily, it's 27 acres of ground, so it's enough. And then maybe later we'll put the big rockets on that can go to about 1 kilometer if we have to. But I think that's a bit stretching it. It's too many things go wrong. So we'll go for those the very low orbiting types. Not even orbiting, as you know. But it gives them a thrill to when they press the 2 buttons and off it goes. I had a lot of fun with my older grandson, Leslie. He had a lot of fun with rockets and also with Romeo. Gee, Romeo came to his kindergarten school, and then we all went to a big field in little buses, and we launched a few rockets. It was so much fun. They never forgot it. Anyway, I see Beno's gone. Ohan, I'll pass it back to you. I'm going to make this my final round as well. Not much to add, but I just want to go make sure that this electrical supply is back on. I've got 250 people needing to either stay at home or come to work tomorrow because of this outage. While we were working on Thursday, the power went out, and then I got an email to say, oh, it's going to take 3 hours. They're just busy doing some mod. Well, that 3 hours turned up until yesterday afternoon. It was back again. And then today I got a WhatsApp early this morning to say, oh, there's some switch gear that had burnt out. They're going to replace it today. And I thought, oh, hell, here we go. Let's see. And sure as nuts, the beacon went off, and I've just, there it's the second time. So sounds like the power's back on. Yeah, great stuff. So hopefully we can run production tomorrow. Right, with that, I'll sign, and I'll just let the net continue through. And Leon, if you'll close the net when it's down to you, you'll be the last one on the list. So ZS1 SCI. Now let me just think. I don't know if Brian said. Yeah, Brian said he's going. Phil said he's going. So it's it will be you, Ohan, and to Martin, and Martin to Leon. So I'll say 7-3 all round to everybody. Thanks for coming up. And thanks for those all watching. To Matthias, we had a number of guys on YouTube watching as well. I just want to say hi again to Peter. He's Delta Kilo 3 Zulu Foxtrot. Peter always watches. Lovely to have you on as usual, Peter. Vielen Dank that you come on. Hello to Francis Roswell, G8PQH. He's just listening today. And then also to Don Kelly, who congratulated Ohan on his presentation. And then on the other frequencies I've mentioned, those fellows. And Henry, nice to hear you on. Please put a transmitter on so we can get to see you again. Right, with that, I'll say 7-3 to all. Man, my voice is packing up. It's this air conditioner, I'm telling you. And over to you, Ohan, ZS1 SEI from ZS6YI.
ZS6YI, this is ZS1 SEI. Yeah. All the best there, Gary, for your power situation. That sounds tremendous. Thanks for everybody on the net. Interesting stuff. Always nice to be part and sharing all kinds of shenanigans. Yeah, I think this project is in a relatively working state. It's nice to know that from my end you can encode the frames and make it look nice on the receiving end, albeit because I have a processor that can do that. I've dropped a link in the chat, found it on the FFmpeg website. I'll just peruse through it on the side here. That link essentially lists the rankings of CPUs in their FPS average, so you can actually select which encoder, in this case lib265, scenarios live, FPS, and then yeah, see where your CPU ranks. So it's very brutal to old CPUs. So yeah, I'll be playing with this, I guess, but yeah, this is quite interesting stuff. So yeah, funny that CPUs are this powerful with this particular regard. But I mean, there's other codecs too, so things will change. And what's nice is figuring out that it's just FFmpeg in the background, and you're sending it a bunch of commands. The idea would be then that my dashboard would not require you to run either Windows or Linux. You would just put your own, or I'll provide a Linux copy of FFmpeg and a Windows copy of FFmpeg in the root directory of this project, which would then be spawned by the Node-RED project, which I'm trying to make an exe. So the idea is there's a way to take all the Node-RED, the server JSON, JavaScript file, and then the thing that the flows work on, so the front end. You can wrap those two JSON files and the actual Node.js framework that runs that. You can wrap that into one exe. So then it's going to be like 60 megabytes, 60, maybe 70. But the point is, then you'll double click it. It'll have a web browser. It'll only live while it's active. And then it'll spawn a website, which you can then look at the flow in the same way that I presented, to which you can then set up your Pluto. So that's the goal. I'm thinking about how to wrap that. I found an example of how to do it. So that would be for that project, so that people don't have to install Node-RED. Double click the file. It spins up Node-RED in a little virtual space. It uses the current directory as its means to store settings, and off you go. So yeah, anyways, I'm then going to make this my last and then give it over to Martin, G8KOE, from ZS1 SEI. Thanks to everybody that was on the net today. Look forward to it again. Next week I should be, the amp should not be in my room anymore, so I don't have to use NVIDIA Broadcast to do the noise cancellation because the amp's running quite loudly right there. So yeah, I'm going to move it to the garage. So then I need to power it on remotely. Hopefully it doesn't explode. Leon, I'm going to need your help to make up an LMR 400 cable. 5 meters I would need. So if you can help with that, that would be great. Anyways, Martin, G8KOE. This is one ZS1 SEI. Have a nice day.
Yeah, thanks a lot there, Ohan. Let's see whether I actually get a picture. Yeah, I've got a picture. Hasn't moved yet. Oh, I'm moving now. Let's mute that up. Well, if it's in a little EXE that can be run, then that's right up my street. Yeah, mine's the specification. Mine's 11 generation. I thought it was Intel Core i7 2.5. And I've got 16 gig of RAM and etc. etc. And I've had this PC, I think, for just over 2 years. It'll be 3 years next June, I think, which I was quite surprised. Plus, it's got the graphics card, etc. etc. Yeah, all the information I'm sort of pulling off at the moment is if you go to the Microsoft App Store, there's a free app called Specky. And that makes it. Thank you. Well, that was quick. Well, I might give it a try. So with the Pluto, the new firmware, does it run on the early and the late Pluto, or is it just on the later Pluto? I wonder. Because I must admit, I've got 2 Plutos. One is the earlier one, and one is the later one. One's the which is all GPS locked up, has that side of things, and I've got a revision B. Oh, it's so quick with the answers to the questions, which is pretty good. You could use what sort of tools to progress. Anyway, okay. Yeah. Right. Well, I'll await with interest when you get it all packaged up. So with this lot all packaged up, presumably you won't be able to do the narrowband stuff, or will you be able to do the narrowband with using SDR console, or would one need something different, or have you not done that? Because at the moment, if we could fix the narrowband issue on Beta, sure. Because that's what's convenient about 0303 or whatever it is, that I can go in there. Yeah, okay. I can change over between one and the other, and it works exceedingly well. So quite humoured with that. Yeah. Good. Now, what else was I going to mention? Well, OpenTune I demonstrated, so if Beno did see any of it, or I didn't realise it was disappearing, but I was quite surprised. In fact, everything's been working quite well on these last couple of overs, which is quite amusing. To you there, Leon, you can download a file to a USB stick which enables you to boot up your PC and reload the operating system, Windows 11 operating system. It'll do that, and if you've got a PC that was Windows 11 was registered to, then it'll do all the necessary. So that shouldn't be a problem. It's it's a little while since I've done it. I was going to do it myself on this particular beastie, but being I've got a paying for the privilege of having tech support. Well, it came with tech support for 3 years, so I'll get them to do it. So tomorrow morning we'll be having a conversation with tech support, which is located in India. She was very helpful last time. Spent a good hour going through things with me, and I'm not the quickest in the uptake, so that was all good. But yeah, no, it's not a problem with Windows 11. The fact you haven't got this, I remember with was it Windows 95 that you had sort of hundreds of floppy disks. And you fed it in with floppy disks at one stage, or I had a version of it. In fact, I might still have that somewhere. I've got a lot of old operating systems. And Linux, no, you don't want to do that. That's no, I'm not going to wind up the man there. Right, I don't think I've got anything else to add. Been another good net, and I'll watch with interest that Ohan on whether I can give it a go. I don't know, I've mentioned it before, I'm dyslexic and I get very confused with numbers, which is why playing with things like Node-RED, I've avoided doing things like that, because even if I knew what the number was to go in certain places, things like that, I'd probably put it in wrong. Because as soon as you get various blocks, then you've got it, and then, anyway, it's all a bit too much for me. Bring back the ZX81, I say. Right, I'll pass it over to you, Leon, to wind up the net, and it's all good. Test card, and it's all yours from G8KOE.
Okay, Beno, you take it. Apparently you're not gone. So you take it, I'll take it after you. PR3 FBAX ZS1mm.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Happened to me before. Gary always thinks I'm only doing one round. Maybe I was too busy with Formula 1, but it's only tonight at 7 o'clock local time, 5 o'clock UTC time. It will be the next Formula 1. Okay, well, anyway, lovely stuff. Ohan, I'm checking out this performance. I have a 11th generation i7, and that's basically what also needs Leon needs to look at, what kind of generation i7 you have, which you can see in the if you right click on the computer in your system, you get the information. Let's see, can I quickly show that to you live? Let's see, do I have a screen? Test screen. That's the wrong screen. So now I move that one to here. You see a 11th generation i7, and that's basically what you want to know. The speed, obviously, and the amount of K here, and which kind of generation CPU you have. I think my problem will work. Actually, I just downloaded it, Owen, and I will test it. The main advantage, or should I say disadvantage, of Windows versus, let's go back to my camera. The main advantage of, or disadvantage of Windows is it does so much automatically for you, and that's the main advantage of Linux, is it doesn't do anything for you unless you tell it to do. And in order to be able to tell it to do, you need to know how to talk to it, and that's the whole issue with Linux. I like Linux, I'm using Linux quite, I have a few Raspberries and I even run it on a PC, but the minute I'm starting to use several programs, I'm back to Windows, as it all the real programming is done by some specialist, and I'm not capable in completing that. But I will do the test performance of my PC, because it's nice to know that, and I will do that part. I have already looked at the new, you need to put new firmware into the Raspberry, into the Pluto, in order to get everything working. And this nice new firmware is doing more possibilities, and it's more stable. I think it will be eventually okay, but I understand Everest has a problem with his Pluto, and I understand we need big fans on the Pluto to get everything running again, because it's really uses the resources of the Pluto to the max, and I think that's not a big problem, but you need to write to do the right correct, with the first line, Ohan, in your description, already putting big cooling fans or cooling to the Pluto, because it will get hot, and every Pluto gets hot, but the minute you're doing this kind of stuff, it will, well, be even hotter, I believe. And yes, well, if I don't make mistakes, I don't learn anything. So I break occasionally things, and I'd rather not have the Pluto at the moment. So as long as I have tons of other things to do, I keep on doing other things, and stick with the easy by now. And eventually, if everything is sorted out. By the way, I'm going to install the Node-RED instance on my Raspberry, because I have one or two Raspberries running Node-RED. Played quite a bit already with Node-RED, and I really love the Node-RED. But again, it's doing a lot in the background, and I must agree with Phil. It's never fun if it does things you don't like to know of or want. And but I'm not that. If someone wants to take over my machine, I know there are 100 ways they can do that, and I will be just sitting duck here. Okay, well, anyway, passing it on to Leon, and commenting on anything? I don't think so. By the way, I was OpenTuner. I said yes, it works, and it even turns on the TS light for me, which is on my Mini Tuner S version. I believe the BATC version doesn't have a TS light, but the Mini Tuner S version has. as well as my update for the second TS. It has also the TS light on it, but that one doesn't work, and I need to figure out with Tom what's going on there. Okay, well, that's all. Leon, passing it on to you. I don't have so many planes, but also myself, I have no time to play with these guys behind me, and they are all sitting, hanging there for, well, the minute I put them there, they haven't moved ever since I put them there, and that's a pity. But hey, there's so much to do in one day only, and as I will be 100, I have some time left, because I'm a little bit older than 38, a little bit older than Phil, but I have still 60 years to go. Hi. From Papa Alpha 3 Fox Bravo X-ray passing.
Okay, Beno, Papa Alpha 3 Fox Bravo X-ray ZS1 Mike for a final. Yeah, the sun just came out and now my color balance is all wrong. I don't know when this camera does its sampling and then it holds it and it's not taking a resample. I don't know if I must switch it off and on again. Anyway, if I look a bit pale, then you know it's because the sun came out and it's changed everything. Yeah, Beno, I tried to find that spot where you were now. I couldn't find it. Mine just says Intel i7 and running at 3 gigs, and then it says the memory, and then it goes to the rest of the stuff, Windows 11 and blah 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 blah. So anyway, doesn't matter. I shall promptly uninstall that new thing that Ohan sent me from this computer before it causes any problems. Because the thing is, I don't even know what version of stuff I have on my Pluto. My Pluto runs ice cold. I have no problem with overheating on my Pluto. I just felt it now. It runs cold. I do have a spare one which has got the even older firmware on. The first system we used with OBS, that is on the other Pluto. So I've just stashed that away for a rainy day if this one should pack up. Then I need somebody to help me to get the new firmware onto that one, because I've forgotten how to operate that system. I know it was a lot of stuff you had to open and you start the recording on OBS and all that sort of stuff. Okay, thanks everybody. I think we shall close the net now then, and leave the channel open for whoever wants to say something or whatever, and cheers to all the guys watching on the streaming, and have a nice rest of the weekend. From ZS1 Mike saying 73s.